like to make that clear. The first in the list is Congressman Dante Marcoleta. You are recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chairman. Maya pabak po, karenggang memalen na ning Bacolor, Pampanga. Mr. Chair, may I direct my questions to PAGCOR?
PAGCOR, you are recognized. Please respond to the questions of Congressman Marcoleta.
Yung PAGCOR po ay may jurisdiction sa lahat ng gambling activities sa ating bansa. Tama po?
Yes, sir. As a general rule, the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation has jurisdiction over all games of chance, except po dun sa covered ng jurisdiction ng other licensing authorities. Ayun pong covered ng local government units at iba pang sangay ng gobyerno po.
Pursuant to your charter, based on Presidential Decree 1869, nag-issue po kayo noong 2016 ng Rules and Regulations for Philippine Offshore Gaming Operations. Tama po?
Yes, sir.
Kung ang inyo pong jurisdiction ay mga gambling activities lang sa Pilipinas at ang regulasyon po ninyo naman ay kinocover ang Philippine Offshore Gaming Operations, di po ba parang may konting problema ang legal basis ng inyong rules and regulations?
Mr. Chair, ang naging basis po, tama po kayo, is PD 1869 at gayon din po yung RA 9487 kung saan sinasabi po na ang PAGCOR ay may kapangyarihang mag-issue ng lisensya para po sa lahat ng games of chance sa Pilipinas except high alay po at yung mga covered po ng ibang sangay ng gobyerno.
Oo nga po, pero pinag-uusapan na po natin ito, offshore gaming corporations, wala na po yata ito doon sa inyong jurisdiction, tama po?
Sa tingin po namin ay mayroon po kaming jurisdiction. However, gaya po ng nabanggit during sa last hearing po ng Public Order and Safety and ang Games and Amusement, kung mayroon pong magko-question ng jurisdiction ng PAGCOR, ay susundin po iyon kung mapapawalang bisa po yung mga batas na nagbibigay ng karapatan sa PAGCOR sa paglilisensya po ng offshore gaming.
Saan po nakabasing legal yung tingin ninyo?
Sorry, sir?
Saan po nakabase? Kasi sabi po nyo sa tingin ninyo. Ano po ang basihan nung pagtingin ninyo na meron kayong jurisdiction sa Pogo?
The PD 1869 at RA 9487 po kung saan nakalagay po doon na ang PAGCOR ay may karapatang mag-operate at maglisensya ng lahat po ng all games of chance and all games of numbers except po yung mga nililisensyahan ng ibang sangay ng gobyerno except high alay po.
Ano po yun? RA 9487?
Yes po.
Sinabi po roon na meron kayong jurisdiction sa Pogo?
Wala pong explicitly po na nakalagay
yun nga
po
po
doon.
wala ngang specific Kasi sabi mo kanina, sa tingin po ninyo. Ibig sabihin, wala po. Tama?
Yun nga pong RA 9487 po ang pinagbatayan po noon, Mr. Chair.
Ano po yun?
Nga pong 9487 po ang pinagbatayan po noon. Hindi po explicitly nakalagay, pero po ang exclusion po na nakalagay po lamang doon ay yung high alay po.
Wala nga pong nakalagay doon It is not explicitly written in the law, Madam. Ngayon po, ang susunod na tanong, ano na po yung ginawa ninyong step or steps in order to fulfill the wish of the President that effective his SONA on July 22, 2024, he said that effective today, the POGOs are banned. Ano na po ang ginawa ng PAGCOR para po ang instruction na ito ng ating Pangulo ay matupad?
Okay po. Sa ngayon po, Mr. Congressman, nag-aaral pa po ang iba't ibang sangay ng gobyerno kung ano po ang mga holistic approach na gagawin po natin para sa pagpapatupad ng total ban. On the side of PAGCOR po, initially, lahat po ng applications, lahat po ng mga additional sites na ina-applyan po ng mga existing licensees po ay hindi na po prinoseso at tinigil na po lahat ng pagproseso ng mga applications at anuman pong makakadagdag pa sa operations ng POGOs, ng internet gaming licensees. Additionally, effective August 1, 2024, nagpatupad na po kami ng hiring ban para po hindi na po tumuloy yung dami po ng mga empleyado sa offshore gaming, sa internet gaming operations. So, tinitingnan po namin na mga sa susunod na buwan ay paunti na po ng paunti yung mga magiging empleyado ng operators po natin. And nakikita din po natin na marami po sa mga licensees ay nagbabawas na rin po ng kanilang mga operational sites. Nag-a-apply po sila voluntarily ng cancellation at unti-unti na po nilang pinapaliit. Ngayong buwan po, pagpapasahin po ng comprehensive plan of winding down on operations lahat ng ating mga operators at susundan po iyon ng PAGCOR para po tuloy-tuloy po yung maayos na pagpapaliit ng kanilang operations hanggang December 31, 2024. Kami din po ay in constant coordination with the Bureau of Immigration and Department of Labor and Employment para naman po sa mga empleyado na maapektuhan ng ban. So, nagko-coordinate po kami kung paano po mabibigyan ng trabaho, yung mga mawawalan po ng trabaho, na lalong-lalo ng mga Pilipino, at paano po sila matutulungan eventually pagka po na-displace po sila dahil sa ban. And yung mga foreign nationals din naman po, para po maayos po silang makalabas ng bansa at hindi po magkaroon ng kaguluhan. Ito po yung mga pinagpepreparahan po natin para po eventually sa pag-wind down and close down of the operations by December 31, 2024, nakalatag na po yung mga plano ng iba't ibang ahensya po ng government po.
Hindi ko po kasi tinatanong kung ano po yung dapat gawin ng mga saklaw ng directive ng Presidente. Ang tinatanong ko lamang po, ano yung ginawa ninyo para matupad ang kanyang directive na effective today, sabi niya po yon, July 22, 2024, ay itigil na po lahat ang gawain ng POGO. Halimbawa po, kinansilan nyo ba, nirevoke nyo ba yung rules and regulations for Philippine Offshore Gaming Corporations, operations? Kinansel nyo na po ba yung inyong rules and regulations?
Sir, yung rules and regulations for Philippine offshore gaming operations ay matagal na pong na-repeal. Hindi na po pinapatupad or hindi na po yun ginagamit as a regulation. Sa ngayon po, sir, ang naging directive po kasi ng Presidente is na-ban na po yung POGO ng July 2022 and inaatasan po ang PAGCOR na i-wind down po yung operations by December 31, 2024. Yung existing rules and regulations po namin, patuloy pa rin po namin pinapatupad pero hindi na po nagdadagdag, hindi na po nag-i-issue ng lisensya ang PAGCOR patungkol po sa internet gaming license po.
Nag-issue po ba kayo ng notice sa lahat ng PAGCOR firms na mula July 22, 2024 ay hindi na po pinapayagan ang inyong mga operations? Nag-issue po ba kayo ng notice sa lahat ng mga may kinalaman sa POGO?
Nag-issue po kami ng memorandum sa aming mga licensees na ito na nga po yung naging desisyon ng Pangulo na iban na po yung POGOs. At habang pina-finalize po yung detalye at proseso ng winding down, pwede po muna silang mag-operate. Yun po ang inisyo po namin, sir.
Please wrap up,
So,
Congressman Marcoleta.
Mr. Chair, binago po ninyo ang utos ng Pangulo. Ang sabi ng Pangulo, wala pong masyadong simple po yung sinabi niya. Magmula ngayon, sabi niya, effective today, we are banning all POGO activities. Wala po siyang sinabi na maaari nyo silang palawakin sa iba't ibang pamamaraan hanggang sila'y makapag-wind up. Bakit po binago nyo ang kautusan ng Pangulo?
I think po na klaro naman
Last question,
po ito
Congressman Marcoleta.
na binibigyan pa po sila ng hanggang December 31, 2024 po para po unti-unti pong paliitin yung operations po nila.
Mr. Chair, hindi po maliwanag yung sagot nila. Para sa akin ay binabago po ninyo yung kautusan. Napakasimple po ng kautusan ng Pangulo. Simula sa araw na ito, itigil ninyo lahat ang aktibidad na may kinalaman sa POGO. As simple as that. Hindi po ba, akala ko ba nag-issue na kayo ng order sa kanila? Dapat sana po, kinabukasan, isinara na po ninyo lahat ang mga POGO para walang problema. Hindi ba dapat ganun po yung inaasahan ng ating mamamayan, Mr. Chair?
I think, Mr. Congressman, bukod po sa naklaro naman po yun, magiging mahirap po na abrupt po yung maging hakbangin po na
Hindi
gano'n.
po abrupt yun eh. Ang Pangulo na po ang nagsabi. Wala tayong magagawa doon. Ang sabi po ng Pangulo, simula sa araw na ito, itigil lahat ang POGO. Abrupt po ba yun? Pangulo po ang nagsabi, kayo po ang mananagot dyan kapag sinabi nyo, Mr. President, masyado namang abrupt po ang order ninyo. Sasabihin nyo po ba sa Pangulo yun?
Hindi po, sorry po, hindi po, sir.
Kaya nga po, ang inahasahan po ng mamamayan, kapag sinabi ng Pangulo, simula sa araw na ito, itigil ang lahat ng gawain may kinalaman sa POGO. Ibig sabihin, tigil po lahat. Hindi ba ganon?
Your time is up, Congressman Marcoleta.
Hindi, pasasagutin ko lang, Mr. Chair. Hindi ba ganon?
Sa tingin ko naman...
Dapat ganon, di ba?
Sir, liliwanagin ko lang po na naklaro naman po na hindi pa po nung araw na yon mahihinto muna yung operations, kundi bibigyan pa po sila ng pagkakataon na i-wind down po yung operations nila hanggang December 31, 2024.
Wala po ako narinig na ganon mula sa Pangulo, Mr. Chair.
Okay, please ask the same question on the second round. Thank you, Congressman Marcoleta. The next interpellator is from the minority. Representative Franz Castro, you're recognized. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, yung mga questions ko po. So, nandiyan po ba yung DOLE, BI, and PISA? PESA? Mr. Chair. May representative
Bureau
po ba?
of Immigration. BI. Can you
Bureau of
repeat the question?
Immigration, Bureau of Immigration, DOLE, and PESA.
Yes, please proceed.
Okay.
Ay,
So, ang question ko po ay para doon sa BI. Pwede rin sumagot ang DOLE at saka yung PESA and other economic zone. So, pagpasok po ba nung ating mga workers na galing sa ibang bansa? So, meron po ba tayong, meron po ba silang mga sinubmit na mga working visa or working visa or working permit sa BI po?
Madam Chair, karamihan po nung mga POGO workers, when they arrived here, they were using the regular temporary visitor visa, and then dito po sila nagko-convert ng working visa.
So wala po ba ni isa na pumasok sa ating bansa na talagang mag-work sila dito at meron silang mga visa?
Nung pumasok po sila dito, kung mga restricted national po sila, like Chinese or Indian, bibigyan po, may dala po sila mga entry visa issued ng ng DFA, ng mga consulate natin.
So ano po yung visa nila, Mr. Chair?
Ang tawag po doon ay temporary visitor visa.
So pag temporary visa, Mr. Chair, mga ilang buwan lang dapat sila andi dito?
Ang initial po na bibigay sa kanila is 3 months kapag may binigyan sila ng 3 months po kapag may entry visa po sila.
Okay. So yan po yung common na mga visa na natatanggap natin na pumapasok dito. So
Pag mga restricted po, kasi pag mga non-restricted na tinatawag, yung mga Europeans, Americans, hindi na po nila kailangan ng entry visa. So passport lang po, ina-admit na po natin sila.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, parang very general no yung sagot. So, can we have a report no of all the entrance here na meron po talagang mga working visa na pumunta rito, na pumasok dito?
Hanapin po namin kung may, pero
For the
update lang din po namin yung Congress. As of today po, nung nag-declare po yung presidente na bawal na po yung POGO, hindi na po kami tumatanggap ng mga working visa applications ng mga POGO workers.
No, for the period of 2016 up to 2022.
Sige, yes Madam Chair. Hanapin po namin yung data for that po.
Okay, so mahalaga ito, Mr. Chair, no, kasi para sa policy natin, no, doon sa pagpasok ng mga foreigner na pumapasok dito dahil gusto talaga natin na ma-define kung ano ba talaga yung gagawin nila dito sa ating bansa. If it is tourists, if they will work, if they will be students, etc. Kasi ang ginagamit kasi nila yung mga entry visa nila dito as for example, mga students sila or tourists, and afterwards nagko-convert. So ito yung nakita nating pattern, no, doon sa mga workers, foreign workers na nagpupunta rito. Okay, next, Mr. Speaker, doon sa ating POGO, ay sa PAGCOR, Mr. Chair. So, ang tanong natin sa PAGCOR, Mr. Chair, saang city or province pinakamaraming mga illegal POGO at saan din ang pinakamaraming legal?
Una po muna doon sa legal po, na pinakamarami po siguro is sa National Capital Region po, Makati and Pasay po. And then for the illegal po, siguro po within Metro Manila din po.
Wala po bang mga nasa mga provinces and other LGU aside from the NCR? So, hindi. Ang sinasabi natin, yung pinakamarami, can you specify? Kasi very general yung sinasabi mong mga illegal POGOs, ang pinakamarami ay dito rin sa NCR. Pero di ba sa mga pagdinig dito sa Kongreso, may mga nakita tayo, halimbawa dito sa Pampanga, sa Bamban, meron sa Cavite. So, ano po yung difference nung dami nung sinasabi nyo sa Metro Manila or NCR as regards do sa mga probinsya, Mr. Chair?
Ang pinagbasehan po nung naging statement na yon is kung babasihan po natin yung file po ng PAOK sa 400 plus po na nasa listahan po natin, karamihan po sa nakansela at sa na-issue before and nakansela na po ay nasa National Capital Region. However, meron din po tayong mga mangilan-ngilan na licensees na nagtigil na po or nag-cancel na po ng kanilang mga lisensya pero nasa ibang lugar po or nasa ibang probinsya po ng Pilipinas. Pero po karamihan pa din po sa mga nakansela na wala na pong lisensya ay nasa National Capital Region po.
Mr. Chair, can we have a list of those POGOs na sinasabi nila na pinakamarami sa NCR na legal at saka yung mga nakansela na?
We will provide po, Congressman.
Yes, during our last meeting, meron kayong sinubmit na more than 42 na mga legal POGOs. Tama ba yon? At merong isa na nakansela rin.
Apo.
Okay, so etong mga legal POGOs na to, no, nabigyan nyo na po ng order
Yes po.
na hanggang December 31 lang.
Tama po.
So ilan po yung mga involved na mga Filipino workers?
Ayon po sa huling data po namin is nasa 33,100 Filipino workers po yung kasalukuyan po na ini-empleyo ng mga licensed po natin.
Please wrap up, Congressman Castro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kasi dito sa mga workers natin sa Pilipinas na mawawala ng trabaho by December 31, meron na pong mga sumusulat sa atin. Ngayon, dapat meron na kayong contingency plan kung paano po mabibigyan halimbawa ng trabaho itong 33,000 in coordination with other government agencies.
Sorry sir, meron na pong...
Okay, can you submit those plan? Kasi may mga kababayan tayo talaga na sumusulat na paano na daw sila by December 31.
Okay. Congresswoman, with regard po dun sa mga trabaho na ito, para po sa mga madi-displace, meron po tayo mga kasalukuyang plano and sa ngayon po ay patuloy po yung profiling nung mga 33,000 na yon para po ma-match po natin sila sa mga open jobs and opportunities po na pwede po nilang pasukan after po nitong effectivity po ng ban.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yun lang po.
Thank you, Congresswoman Castro. Next interpellator is Congressman
Mr. Chair.
Lordan Suwan.
Mr. Chair,
Before that, yes, Chair Abante.
in relation lang doon sa question ni Congressman Marcoleta sa PAGCOR, I just would like to ask, yung PAGCOR, yung NBI, yung PIDEA, yung Philippine National Police, kung sila nagkaroon ng command conference, pagkatapos sabihin ng Pangulo na ihinto na ang PAGCOR, ihinto na ang POGO. Yun ang gusto kong itanong.
We will just ask the agencies concerned
Yes,
for the
yes.
reply later, Congressman Abante, after we finish all the listed
Okay.
in the sheet. If that would be all right with you, Chair Abante.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
we proceed with Congressman Lordan Suwan. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I direct my questions to PAGCOR? Ma'am, Republic Act 9160 or the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2001, as amended, has added casinos, including internet and ship-based casinos, to the coverage of the Act. In line with this, the PAGCOR Anti-Money Laundering Supervision and Enforcement Division was created, or the PASED, to set out and enforce effective anti-money laundering and countering of the financing of terrorism. Now, one of the things that PASED does is to conduct on-site inspections and off-site examinations. May I ask if these inspections or examinations are still being conducted or were ever conducted as regards POGOs?
Mr. Chair, yes, the PASED po conducts on-site inspections po to the internet gaming licensees po.
So if they conducted examinations or inspections on POGO operations, how frequently were they conducted?
Mr. Chair, I'm not really familiar po kung gaano ka-frequent po nila ito ginagawa. But we can submit po reports on the result of the on-site checks conducted by the PASED po.
Yes. Can you also include the manner in which such examinations were conducted, how often, and the time when these inspections were started in our country?
Will do po.
On another note, on pages 35 to 40 of PAGCOR's Citizens Charter Handbook, there is a checklist of requirements which must be complied with by applicants in order for them to be granted an internet gaming license. And one of these requirements is the result of evaluation conducted by an accredited probity checker. An accredited probity checker of the OGLD, or Offshore Gaming Licensing Department of the PAGCOR. Now, according to the Internet Gaming Definitions Regulations of PAGCOR, a probity checker is an entity who is responsible for the verification of the identity of applicants and to include all officials of the corporate applicant, their finances, their integrity, competency, and criminal associations. May we know who these checkers are, these probity checkers?
Right now, sir, we have 2 probity checkers duly published in our website. It's the Pacific Strategies and Assessments Company and the Filipino Incorporated.
So, do you have a list of which probity checker or checkers were assigned to what particular POGO?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you please furnish us a list of the identities of these probity checkers and what POGO they were assigned to?
Will do po.
Thank you. And my last question, Mr. Chair. So one of the requirements for foreign nationals to be granted an offshore gaming employment license is a clearance from the National Police. So what steps or mechanisms were being used by the Philippine National Police to ensure that the applicant has no criminal record in their country of origin? May I actually address this to the PNP? So my question was, one of the requirements of foreign nationals to be granted an offshore gaming employment license is a clearance from the National Police. So what steps were taken in order to make sure that these people were not criminals in their country of origin?
PNP?
Uh, Good morning, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. I'm Police Brigadier General Nicolas Salvador, the Acting Director for Operations. Pertaining to your questions, Your Honor, the PNP doesn't have the mandate with respect to requiring foreign nationals, especially with respect to national police clearance. And I believe that is the mandate that will come from the Bureau of Immigration, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification, sir. I'm done.
Thank you, Congressman Suwan. The next to interpolate is our Deputy Speaker, Antonio Tonipet Albano. You are
Thank you,
recognized.
Mr. Chair. It is important to note that POGO is a national threat to the Philippine economy, and therefore POGO is a national threat to our national security. Let me state that the Congress right now, you can see most of the red leaders of almost 100 leaders of Congress here because we want to know for sure whether or not we can defeat this kind of criminality that is in our country. Is elucidating what the threat is to our Philippine economy. Secretary Ralph Recto and DBM Secretary Mina has said that our second quarter growth is 6.5%, that the economic gains only is very minuscule with POGO, with 0.05 contribution to our GDP, which is nothing compared to the horrible impact and corruptible consequences of these criminalities, such as POGOs having been linked to crimes of human trafficking, money laundering, tax evasion, etc., and it hurts our Philippine economic rating. And now I'd like to direct my question to the Anti-Money Laundering Council, who is represented here.
Amlak.
Amlak, please identify yourself.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm Attorney Eranio Dumale, Deputy Director for our Financial Crimes Investigation Group.
Attorney Dumale, is it true that because of this POGO, we are now under the watch of the international credit rating community and we could be blacklisted if this goes on?
Mr. Chair, the matter regarding POGOs and...
Can you speak louder because there's an echo?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. It's among the matters that are being monitored by the Financial Action Task Force. It's included in among our action plan items, Mr. Chair.
And what is our status of our credit rating now? Does this affect our, of course, economic security when AMLAC and the world is looking into the anti-money laundering activities that are happening in the Philippines due to POGO?
Mr. Chair, with respect to that monitoring by the Financial Action Task Force, we have already reduced from 18 to 3 our remaining action plan items, Mr. Chair.
And have we answered at least, have you explained to the international community that we are doing something about it so that we cannot be blacklisted?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we are making progress in our mutual evaluation. We are making progress on that, Mr. Chair. And we are reporting on a regular basis to the Financial Action Task Force, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your answer. Again, Philippine economy is threatened because illicit money funds lead to asset bubbles. And this resorts to market distortions. Example, yung real estate po natin sa Pilipinas ay tumataas at yung mga legitimate business cannot compete with the higher cost ng availability of offices and space rentals and the likes. Now let me go to the Philippine Gaming Corporation, Attorney Fernandez.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that what Congressman Dante Marcoleta has been saying, that it is legal for you to have the numbers game? And that is the reason for President Duterte issuing Executive Order number 13 that allowed you to create POGO?
Sir, the Executive Order number 13 is a clarification of the jurisdiction of the gaming authorities that are allowed to issue licenses po for offshore gaming.
If your statement a while ago says that you are already allowed, why do you need this Executive Order number 13?
Mr. Chair, the EO is a clarification of the jurisdiction. It states there, sinasabi po dito, na kapag hindi po malinaw yung jurisdiction ng mga licensing authorities, nakakaapekto po ito sa proper regulation ng gambling sa Pilipinas po.
Then with your May statement, you are admitting to this body that the illegal POGOs within your jurisdiction or not within your jurisdiction is false and should be illegal and should be curtailed. Because you are saying it needs clarification. A while ago you were saying it does not need clarification because RA 947 already allows you for that. What can you say?
Sir, RA 9487 allows PAGCOR to issue all licenses, and then the EO 13 clarifies po the jurisdiction of PAGCOR, CEZA, AFAB, and APECO in the issuance of these licenses.
But the executive order cannot supersede the law. That is why there is a separation of our duties. It is only Congress who can allow that and not a mere executive order. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's why I've told you, with your statement right now, you are saying that EO 13 is illegal and this should be the basis for you to stop POGO as soon as possible, even with the legal POGOs that are actually winding up until December. Thank you very much for that clarification. And I would like to say also that the POGOs have hurt Region 2 because of the CEZA. CEZA is the only one allowed in Congress as a law to create legal numbers games and electronic gaming. And that's why that EO 13 was issued. May I now ask you, is the EO 13 now been canceled in Malacanang as per the statement that from now on PBBM says in July 22 that POGOs are banned?
Sir, I don't have sufficient knowledge po kung kanselado na po yung EO 13 po by that pronouncement, sir. I cannot answer po.
All right, but motu proprio, Mr. Chair, we can see that since her statement is saying that it is illegal, it is non-existent in itself.
If I may, Mr. Congressman, I think I could not declare something illegal. So it would be in the proper forum or in the proper courts po that could declare the executive order illegal.
Well, nonetheless, you've already explained that it is illegal. Third, fourth, itong majority na criminal activities natin, Mr. Chair, associated to POGOs have been traced to organized criminal syndicates, often involving foreign nationals and Filipino nationals, particularly Chinese. Mr. Chair, may this representation be allowed to ask the Chair himself, all these people from Catherine Casarandoong, Dennis Cunanan, all these individuals linked to POGO operations, mukhang pare-pareho ba ho lahat sila?
Well, if you wish to solicit the reply of the Chair, Deputy Speaker Albano, yes, they are all connected to POGOs, both in Banban and in Porac, Pampanga. Deputy Speaker Albano, and you have, please wrap up, you have 1 more minute left.
Yes, and this is therefore what I'm saying. Since this is a threat and we already know these people, may we ask this committee to empower itself and ask for a watch list from the Bureau of Immigration, if someone is here from the Bureau of Immigration, to see whether or not these people are here, especially that they did not attend and we are issuing a show cause order, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Your Honor, that's the reason why the committee has invited all these personalities, not just to shed light, but to for the committee to be able to ferret out the truth as far as their involvement in the crimes that was listed under the operations of illegal pogos, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to wrap up, I repeat, Pogo is a national threat to our Philippine economy, and therefore Pogo is a national threat to our national security and has to be stopped. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, D.S. Albano. The next to interpolate is our representative from the minority, Congresswoman Arlene Brosas. You are recognized. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, gusto po nating malaman kung nakailang raids na ba ng Pogo na isinagawa ang mga authorities, Mr. Chair. Do you have that figure? Siguro, Mr. Chair, ang makakasagot nito ay PAGCOR din ba? Or ano? Meron ba kayong data kung kung ilan at when did you start taking action on Pogos with alleged illegal activities?
Madam Senator, nagsimula po kami, Madam Congressman, nagsimula po kaming makipag-ugnayan po sa mga authorities po natin ng pagdating po ng bagong administration natin ng September 2022, kung saan una po doon is nagkakaroon na po ng mga reports ng kidnapping, illegal detention sa iba't ibang lugar po. Nagkaroon po at nagpatawag po agad ang PAGCOR ng isang meeting para po nandoon yung mga law enforcement agencies natin and mga licensees natin para po simulan yung changes dun sa mga at bigyan sila ng warning na hindi po dapat nagkakaroon ng ganitong mga activities. But with regard po sa number of raid operations, sa tingin ko po PAOK can can accurately give po the numbers of operations.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we would like to know from the PNP siguro kasi sila naman yung nagkaroon ng mga actions nung nakaraan. Nakailan na po ba na Pogo, mga raids, in different parts of the country kung meron na. Tapos ilan, siguro i-connect ko na yung pinaka-frequent na illegal activity na ginagawa and which basically involves women, mga kababaihan po. Yun po yung gusto naming malaman dun sa mga raids na ginawa, ilan ang mga kababaihan na involved. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, for the PNP, based on our record, since January 2016 to July 31, 2024, we have recorded a total of 152 cases. These are all Pogo-related incidents, Your Honor. Now,
Mr. Chair, these 150 cases,
152 cases, Your Honor.
152 cases, Mr. Chair, ito ba ay raids lahat or different different cases?
Raids, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr.
Now
Chair,
to the offenses, Your Honor. We have the following. For kidnap for ransom, we have 43. Kidnapping and serious illegal, anti-trafficking in persons, we have 18. Kidnapping and serious illegal detention, we have 18. The Access Devices Regulation Act of 1998, we have 14. Robbery cases, we have 6. Illegal detention, 5. Slight illegal detention, we have 5. Violation of our Republic Act 9165, we have 3. Violation on investment scam, we have 3. Qualified theft, we have 3. Swindling, estafa, and theft cases. We have consummated slight physical injuries and maltreatment. We have grave coercions. Now, these are incidental cases, Your Honor. Frustrated homicide, frustrated life coercions. We have consummated unjust fixations, grave coercions, Your Honor. That's so far, Your Honor. Those are the cases, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, sa list po ninyo, alin ang pinaka-frequent? Ano yung pinaka-madalas? No? Yung 43, ano yon? Anong case yon?
Kidnapping for ransom and the Anti-Human Trafficking in Persons, Your Honor.
Anti-Human Trafficking in Persons Act. So, mostly po, may mga kababaihan dyan. So, ilan po yung total ng mga biktima ng sex trafficking batay sa raid ninyo sa 152 cases lang, Mr. Chair?
I don't have the further breakdown, Your Honor, but we will check and we will submit this list, Your Honor. Thank you.
Is it 100, 1,000? Gaano po karami?
Tulad po ng nabanggit po namin, wala po kaming breakdown ng cases when we talk about sexual violence. But we will just check, Your Honor, and we will submit you the data.
So, Mr. Chair, kailangan natin nung breakdown nito kasi yung gravity ng ginagawa, lalong-lalo na kung human trafficking ang mga cases nito, sex trafficking ang mga cases nito, kailangan malaman po natin yon. Kasi yun yung sinasabi natin na ang tindi talaga ng social cost sa atin nitong POGO. No? Now, I would like to ask, meron bang mga kinasuhan na particular sa sex trafficking at ano na ang mga status nito, Mr. Chair?
As I have mentioned, Your Honor, we do not have the specific status of cases, but if you would allow us to submit this later on, we will just check with the Directorate for Investigation, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, as simple as bilang ang tinatanong natin. Ngayon, hindi pa po ako nagtatanong, Mr. Chair, kung ano na ang ginagawa after ng POGO raids. Kasi definitely, kailangan po niyan ng processing sa trauma, lalo na ng mga kababaihan. Now, what is the authorities doing right now para doon sa mga lalo na dito sa 152 cases na sinasabi ninyo, may psychological relief pa sila? Anong mga legal measures ang ginagawa ngayon para sila ay matulungan? Lalong-lalo na yung mga kababaihan na may mga cases ng ganito. Kasi alam niyo naman po yun, hindi biro ang mga cases ng rape, sex trafficking, human trafficking, torture, etc. Ano na po ang measures na ginagawa ngayon kaugnay dyan? Hindi po pwedeng magsabi lang tayo na no, i-ban natin, kundi kailangan i-secure din natin yung safety at saka yung pangangailangan ng mga victims na ito, Mr. Chair. Ano po yung program ngayon na ginagawa, specific ng government, para doon sa mga biktima, lalong-lalo na ng sex trafficking, human trafficking, etc. No? Masasabi niyo po ba sa akin kung ilan ang may kaso ngayon on sex trafficking dyan?
Your Honors, we can only speak for the law enforcement But as to the programs that you were mentioning, normally when we talk about raids, it is a joint or composite operations. And normally we have the Women's and Children Protection Center that are included in the units, and they believe they have all the necessary measures with respect to coordination to the appropriate agencies, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr.
Please
Chair,
wrap up.
pasubmit na lang yan.
Last question.
Yes, Mr. Chair, pasubmit po tayo dahil sa law enforcement, sila naman yon. Pero Mr. Chair, sana masagot ako, ano yung mga programa ngayon na ginagawa para doon sa mga ni-raid na POGO, tapos may mga kababaihan na involved, ano na ang programa ng gobyerno dito, Mr. Chair? That's the last of my question, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Ano na ang programs na ginagawa para dito?
Well, to whom the question was addressed, Congresswoman Brosas?
Mr. Chair, nandito naman ang NBI, PNP, PAGCOR. Siguro, masasagot nila tayo. Sino pa ba ang involved dito?
Well, I believe that there was a task force created for this purpose to address the concerns related to the criminalities inside a POGO hub. And I believe the Philippine National Police and the members of the task force will be asked by the committee later on to submit their plans of action with respect to addressing the criminalities related to POGO, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kasi yung post-trauma, importante natin na-address yan eh. At the same time, nagkakaroon ng tuloy-tuloy or continuing yung mga POGO raids, dito madami yung mga victims mo. Kailangan meron ka talagang program para doon. At kung law enforcement lang ang gagawin, it will not be enough, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman Brosas. Before we proceed, let me acknowledge members who have attended this committee hearing. Honorable Dean Asistio, Honorable Howard Ginto, Honorable Janet Garin, Honorable Ernesto Junicio, Honorable Jude Asidre. Welcome to the committee. And Honorable Joboy Aquino. The next to interpolate is Congressman George Patrol Bustos. You are recognized. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maya Pabak po. Mr. Chair, allow me first to commend our law enforcers, particularly the PNP, NBI, PDEA, and most especially PAOK. Before I go further, I would like also to commend our chairpersons for their dedication and leading the 4 committees that led to the creation of the Quad Committee. Of course, we know that they are all seasoned legislators, all under the leadership of the Speaker of the People, Speaker Martin Romualdez, and ably assisted by our Senior Deputy Speaker, Congressman Dong Gonzales, the pride of Pampanga. Mr. Speaker, since we are having this public hearing, the advantage of this is to fully involve the people. As what the father of modern British policing, wherein he said that the police are the public and the public are the police. Of course, in a public hearing, we are also expecting that a possible walk-in witness, we can have a possible walk-in witness. So, Mr. Chair, kung walang ganon, I suggest probably the committee, Quad Committee could set up a dedicated phone number para pwedeng tumawag yung posible mga witnesses dito sa mga kinukonsider natin dito sa Quadcom. Sa POGO man yan, sa extrajudicial killing, and sa illegal drug trade and corruption. Kasi baka mamaya mga ibang kababayan natin takot dumiretso sa PNP. Kung kaya pa natin yon. Mr. Chair, would like also to suggest that we request, since this is the first meeting for the Quadcom, that we request the recent and updated crime statistics related dito sa mga dinidinig natin ngayon. And if I may suggest for the PNP, before I go to my questions, baka po pwede tayong maglagay ng mga monitoring team sa mga scam hubs and pogo hubs, no? Kasi ang akala ko po, doon sa zona ng presidente, susundan ko itong sinasabi ni Congressman Marcoleta, sabi niya po, effective immediately. Kaya papunta po ako sa mga tanong ko sa PAGCOR. Ma'am, papunta po ako sa iyo. So, sa PNP po, I'm suggesting na to seriously consider magkaroon tayo ng tracker and monitoring team na magmo-monitor po dito sa mga scam hubs and pogo hubs. At sa intelligence community, para sa counterintelligence, dahil po doon sa mga pag-secure na mga sa ballot registration, no, PSA, para makita natin kung sino yung mga gumagawa ng kalokohan dyan. Mr. Chair, I now have a few questions for PAGCOR. Ma'am, what did PAGCOR do? No? Anong ginawa niya as soon as you heard the pronouncement of President about banning of Pogo? Gusto ko lang po maging klaro eh. Kinabukasan, ano po bang ginawa niyo? Ano pong ginawa ng PAGCOR?
Gaya po ng nabanggit ko po kanina, nagpadala po kami ng notices po sa aming mga licensees. Ililiwanagin ko lang po, no? Gaya po ng nasabi ni Congressman Marcoleta kanina, ang sinabi po ng Pangulo ay effective immediately, all POGOs are banned. However po, kasunod po ng statement na ito, sinabi po ng Pangulo na I hereby instruct PAGCOR, Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporations, to wind down and cease the operation of POGOs by the end of the year. So yun po yung sinusunod namin po ngayon na panuntunan. So nag-issue po kami ng notice sa aming mga licensees na hindi na po effective immediately ban na po ang POGOs at binibigyan na lamang po sila hanggang end of December 31, 2024 para unti-unti na pong paliitin yung kanilang mga operations at by December 31, 2024, huling araw na po ito na pwede silang makapag-operate.
Narinig ko po yun. PAGCOR po ba, ito po yung kasunod, PAGCOR po ba ang nag-suggest sa Pangulo na hanggang May 31? At ano po yung mga kadahilanan, bakit kailangan po natin extend ng napakatagal hanggang May 31, samantalang alam naman po natin that the gains of POGO is outweighed by the social cost. Yung mga naunang nagtanong po, sinabi na yan. Ano po ba yung mga kadahilanan, ma'am?
Sa first question niyo po, sir, hindi ko po sure. Ang Pangulo po ang nag-utos po mismo. Ito po yung sinabi niya po mismo sa kanyang SONA na nagbibigay po siya ng hanggang December 31 sa PAGCOR para i-wind down yung operations. And I think po, dapat din po nating i-distinguish yung mga illegal POGOs dun po sa mga internet gaming licensees po na currently licensed by PAGCOR. So, yung mga illegal po, yun po talaga, wala na po silang lisensya sa PAGCOR at yun po yung binabantayan din ng ating mga law enforcement agencies at yung mga tinatawag po nating internet gaming licensees, yun naman po yung nasa jurisdiction po ng PAGCOR sa kasalukuyan.
Ma'am, kailangan po ba talaga natin i-distinguish? Eh, siyempre, automatic po yun. We are just referring doon sa mga POGO hub na legal. Naturally, logically, kapag illegal, naturalmente, hindi kasama po yun. Tama po ba?
Hindi po. Ang sinasabi ko po, for the ban, kasama po lahat na POGOs and internet gaming licensees. However po, ang PAGCOR po bilang regulator ay meron lamang pong jurisdiction sa mga internet gaming licensees. Kaya po ito po yung sakop ng winding down and cessation of operations by December 31, 2024. Yung mga illegal naman po, wala pong lisensya sa PAGCOR, ngayon, kahit ngayon po, pwede na po silang hulihin dahil wala po talaga silang authority o wala po silang karapatang mag-operate ng gambling or anuman pong negosyo dito sa Pilipinas po.
Last question, Congressman.
Ma'am, dalawa na lang, bibilisan ko to. Dalawang beses ko po narinig sa inyo yung winding down. Ano po talaga yung context nito? Para klaro po, lalo na sa law enforcement arm.
Winding down po is pagpapaliit na po ng operations, unti-unti na po nilang babawasan po yung kanilang mga hanggang sa tumigil na po silang mag-operate.
With that clarification, meron po ba kayong clear and direct communication with the PNP kung ano naman po ang magiging role nila since ganyan na po yung position natin para klaro din po sa kanila?
Okay, sa ngayon po kasi ay binubuo pa lamang po yung buong team, yung task force or working group po na maghahawak po ng transition. Pero inuuna na po natin dito yung mga pag-aaral po sa mga madi-displaced na workers. And then po, susunod po dito is yung mga karampatang pong susunod na hakbang para po sa mga law enforcement agencies naman po natin na katulong nating magpapatupad nung paghinto po ng operations ng lahat ng mga POGOs by the end of the year. So, kapag po meron na pong ginagawa pa lang po ito, magsusumite po kami ng update sa committee ng mga progress po and ng mga steps po and procedures na susundin po nung komite kapag po nabuo na po ito.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just ask questions for the second round.